In this video, I want to share a breakdown of a 1 to 6 risk reward short on Euro US dollar following a very simple but very profitable setup. It is one of my favorite trading setups. It's called the range trading setup, and it works specifically well on a Euro US dollar, specifically, the other pairs not so much, and also on cryptocurrencies and stocks. But this specific trade is a 6R, so meaning you risk 1% to make 6%, a 6% trade. And I want to show you that this was shared in real time, ahead of time, inside my VIP Discord. As you can see here on the screen in front of you, it's proof. I've got a forex trade channel over here. January 23rd, you can see it's timestamped over here with the original chart at the time. So all the proof is here, and that is so important because I'm not just here giving you some perfect theoretical hindsight breakdown where anyone can look at the chart when you know what happened and move the setups perfectly so it works out how you want it to work out. No, you need to be able to show it first, that you called it in real time, ahead of time, timestamped, as I'm doing here, because that shows that you understand the markets and that you can teach it to other people, and that is what I'm trying to do. Don't listen to anyone who's giving you all these theoretical breakdowns in hindsight without showing you any proof. So, if you want to join my VIP, the link is in the description down below. There's a 60-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk for you. And you will get access to not only my Discord, where I'm in there every day sharing my own chart setups and trade breakdowns and making myself available for support to all the members, but also you will get access to my complete trading course. It is more than 50 video lessons that breaks down all these concepts in great detail, showing you how to trade forex, crypto, stocks, and much more. So if you want to join us, me and more than 2,200 members, click the link in the description down below, and I'll see you on the inside. So again, to show you the proof here, 23rd, I am giving this a go. It looks a much better sweep for the range setup. I previously tried it. It got out at break even because it didn't look right on that initial kind of move. I can actually show you here. You can see over here on the 22nd, we attempted the same setup, and I said I'm not really sure about this. I feel it gets a better sweep of the highs, so I'm putting a stop at break even. So I got out of that one at break even, and then once we got the proper sweep over here, a day later, January 23rd, you can see here that I said I'm giving this another go. It looks now as it has a proper sweep for the range setup. And like with these setups, I know my edge. I know these setups work. So with a setup, I'm always happy to take it. If it's a proven setup, the risk reward is greater than a 1 to 3 at least. But in this case, 1 to 6, I will take that setup every time, because even if it gets stopped out, you know, I can be wrong 5 out of 6 times and break even. If I'm wrong 4 out of 6 times, I'm profitable. If I'm wrong 3 out of 6 times, I'm very profitable. If I'm wrong 1 out of 6 times, I'm still very profitable. That is why I like this setup so much. Okay, so you can see over here, I called it in real time, and as it developed, you can see over here, it started moving down, and you can see over here, that's how it ended up playing out. Down, and perfectly hit. As you can see, perfect range setup would have been 6R. I did exit a little bit early because I wanted the track record in Discord to be able to call it in real time and say, hey, I locked in 3.75R on that, but it could have been a full 6R. So now let me hop into the trade and break it down for you. So we are here on the Euro US dollar chart on the 5-minute chart. As you can see, this is the setup. Over here, it is a 1 to 6, 1.612 actually, risk reward trade setup. And how it works, it's very simple. It's the same thing. We don't need any fancy indicators. We don't need any type of premium subscriptions to any types of, like I said, moving averages or bands or buy-sell indicators. Nothing. All you need is just a basic chart on TradingView. And that's literally it. You need the price action, and you need to know how this works, of course, and that is what I teach in VIP, and what I'm teaching you here anyway. This is the exact same concept. So you can see, we got a move down here, and this is bearish market structure. Once we got the low of the whole move down, we get the reaction high. Okay, so that is what we look for to establish our range. Reaction low to, wick low to reaction high. We take a parallel channel tool over here. It's very simple. And this is the mid-range, 50%. And ideally what you want to see, you like to see this kind of stuff where it kind of rejects from the mid-range and it has this activity here, because it makes it much more likely that this range that you've already defined is going to work out and it is valid. Okay, you never really know, is it going to work out or not. So the rules of the range are simple. Once you've defined it, you see the activity here making it more likely that it is like that. We wait for a sweep of the high or a sweep of the low. Now, we don't know which side it's going to give us first. That is the beauty about this. You don't need to know. All you need to do is have your criteria defined, and we wait. Okay, that's it. We set alerts at the extreme. We don't take any trades within the range because that chops people up, and we wait for a sweep. So, in this case specifically, we got an initial little sweep, and that is where I tried the first attempt. I didn't really like this because it was just ever so slightly above this previous high and not a proper sweep like we saw over here. So I did attempt it over there first. It could have given you a trade to the mid-range, and it could have still probably been like a 1 to 2 or 1 to 3R, but I got out of this one at break even. I didn't like that. Okay, so then at this point we came back up, perfect bounce from the mid-range, by the way, got back up, and now we got the proper sweep. Okay, we got a proper sweep above both this high and this high over here, and then a drop back in. And at this point, it gives us the attempt to be able to do it again. So the theory is, with this range setup, it sweeps the high, drops back into the range. That allows us to take a trade targeting the opposite direction of the range, in this case the low, stop at the high, because if the setup is valid, it shouldn't get back above this high, and then we let it ride. And that is exactly what happened. And you can see it dropped relatively quickly. Keep in mind this is a 5-minute chart, and that is really how simple it was. Even at this point, when we hit the mid-range, you can move stop to break even, or you can lock in 3R, which is already a fantastic trade. In this case, if you would have held the whole trade, and you can see it went well below the bottom of the range, then could have taken out the trade over here for a 6R trade. And again, it's important to note here that the technical setup is the setup, and ideally what I try and do is I just want to get out. Okay, I'm not looking to turn the range setups into longer term continuations. While you can do that at some points, that's a different strategy. Usually I want to exit when the technical objective has been hit, which is the bottom of the range, because in this case you can see if you would have continued holding, hoping that it would continue lower, you would have gotten stopped out. You would have lost your entire profits if you just had kept holding this. So it's important to just treat it as a trade, individual trade. Doesn't matter if it continues going lower, great. After that, that's fine. You're just looking to get the objective, which is whatever the target is. In this case, it was 6R. Sometimes it's 4R, sometimes it's 3R. But usually these range setups give you a 1 to 3 risk reward. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hit the replay mode. I'm going to do this for you in real time, so to speak. I've already broken it down for you, but as it's developing, you can see more the theory behind it, and hopefully it just helps you understand this a little bit more. So let me hit the replay mode, and let's get this going, and let's see how it plays out. Okay, so I changed it to 10x replay speed and changed the chart to 15 minutes just for the sake of keeping this video not insanely long. Ideally, personally, I like to watch this on the 5 minutes, and depending on what range time frame I'm looking at. But the specific one, 5 minute, maybe even 1 minute. And obviously, if we're replaying that in real time, it takes a long time for that to play out. So I'm not going to do that right now. Also, with that, if you're not sitting in front of a computer all the time, sometimes I am, and then it's fine, it's just in the background. But you can also just set alerts. You don't have to watch the screen all the time, because then let it play out. You're not tempted to do any trades in the middle, and once your alert goes off, well, then you can have a look at the chart and see if there's a trade worth taking. So at this point, we got the wick low, we got a reaction high, and this is a potential range. We don't know if it is going to play out. We don't know if the range is correct. So for now, it is just an idea, and the rules of the range, as I've explained, are we define the range, and now we wait for either a sweep of the high and a drop back into the range, or sweep of the low back into the range, and then we only look to take a trade in the opposite direction with a stop at the low, opposite direction in case a sweep of the low, and that's the trade we would take. So for example, over here, let me show you. So if we got a sweep of the low, we would do something like this after the sweep and reclaim, and then we would target the high, and obviously the inverse if the high gets swept first. That is the beauty, again, about the setup. You don't need to know where it's going first. You don't need to have a bias. Be flexible. It goes up, we trade it to the downside. It goes down, we trade it to the upside. Very, very simple. That's why I like this setup so much. So let's continue. Let's see what we get. You can see over here, so at this point, there is absolutely still nothing going on. We're still within the range, and this is where you don't take any trades because you just get chopped up within these ranges. So you can see while it dropped almost all the way to the bottom of the range, it still did not sweep it, and that is key. So here we're still patiently waiting. It is literally the exact extreme of the high or the low. You set an alert, a couple pips lower, a couple pips higher, and you wait. Okay, we need that sweep before taking any positions. Okay, so this is the first time where I looked at it and I'm like, okay, well, maybe that was it. Sometimes it happens that it just slightly wicks above it and then goes all the way down. It is a possibility, but usually we want to see a proper sweep. So in this case, I was looking for potentially something like this. And if that played out, it would be an insane RR, 14 risk reward, which would be absolutely nuts. So it's still worth taking. But at this point, even if you took it or you took it a little bit lower and you're like, okay, I'm going to take it. It didn't really give us the sweep that I was looking for, so I was hesitant. And you can see here, while it could have still actually given you a decent trade at this point, even if you were targeting, say, the mid-range. Here it's already 1 to 2, but let's say you were targeting a 1 to 3, it's pretty conservative. You could have still gotten a 1 to 3 here on this trade, based on the same principles. But I was a little bit greedy and I'm like, okay, maybe it's working. I want to target the bottom because it's an insane risk reward. But now that we are here already in profit, because I don't really trust it, I'm going to move my stop to break even. And that's exactly what I did the first time around. And you can see, as you already know, that this stop is just going to be hit, right? It comes back here. And this is good. That's why you use stop. So I would much rather take a break-even loss, get out without a loss, but without a profit, than taking a 1% loss where it's not necessary. Okay, so at this point I got stopped out. That's fine, and no harm done. And we're still potentially considering that we need a better sweep. So at this point, you can see, and this is a 15-minute chart. We would normally be watching at least at a 5-minute chart, maybe even a 1-minute chart for this specific range, because you just get a much better idea of what's going on. So at this point, you can see we got the sweep here above. We swept this high. Now this is a proper sweep. This is what I'm looking for. A decent amount of pips, a decent amount of 1-minute candle closes above, and here potentially dropping back in. So at this point, we can see, okay, so maybe this is a proper sweep. Maybe the setup is still valid. Let's look for a short over here. So obviously this is on the 1-minute chart and I'm speeding it up 10x, but this is the idea behind this. Okay, so we take the setup another time, targeting the low. In theory, if this is correct, then we take our entry because we got the sweep and we got the drop back in. That's the criteria. And now, in theory, the price should not get above this high and we should target the lows if this setup is going to play out. And as you can see, this is a 1 to 6 risk reward. So because I know, for me, this setup is high probability, with 1 to 6, like I said, I can be wrong 4 out of 6 times and still be profitable, right? So I can take the setup every single time and I will come out ahead most of the time. I think on average, I don't know what the exact percentage is, but with 1 to 6 risk reward with a range setup, I would take that every single time. Even if it results in a loss, sometimes you get stopped out. It's part of trading. But you lose 1% when wrong and you make 6% when right. So now that we zoomed into the 1 minute, I'm going to bring it back to the 15 minute to be able to speed it up, and then I'll let you see how it plays out. And as you can see, that played out absolutely perfectly. Again, the criteria of the range, I've explained it for you here. This is, if you just trade this, purely this is a setup. Only one pair, Euro US dollar, you only trade range setups. You do this once or twice a month. So size matters, of course. If you're trading with a $1,000 account, 5% is only 50 bucks. It's not going to move the needle. But that is where funded accounts come in. So you can get funded capital, and let's say you get a $100,000 account, funded capital, let's say you make 5%, now you're making $5,000 a month, and depending on the package or the deal that you took, you can have potentially up to 90% of that. But let's just say you have a $200,000 account. Well, then if you're making 5%, it's almost $10,000, or it is $10,000, 90% is $9,000, and you would be very, very good with just 1 or 2 setups a month. And this is everything that I teach inside my VIP. I got a 50-lesson course teaching you all these setups, how to do this, how to get funded capital, my strategies, different pairs. This works for forex, stocks, precious metals, cryptocurrencies. It is just fantastic, and I break it down in great detail. On top of that, In my VIP, as part of it, you get access to my Discord group. We have over 2,200 members. I'm in there every single day, personally also sharing my own thoughts on crypto, on the stock markets, on forex. I'm sharing these kind of setups. You can see I've shared this in real time. Perfect setup, 6R. And I'm there to answer your questions. If you've got questions about charts, trading setups, you have requests, anything like that, you don't understand anything, I'm there to help. So my VIP, if you want to learn how to trade, or you are tired of losing, you want a winning strategy, you want to join a community of like-minded people, join VIP. Link is in the description down below. There's a 60-day money-back guarantee. There's no risk to you. You get access to everything. If for whatever reason or none at all, you change your mind and you want your money back within 60 days, come and learn. Come and check it out. No problem. Request the refund within 60 days. You will get it. There's no strings attached or anything like that. That is how confident I am. You can see me. I'm calling it here in real time. I showed you the proof. I break this down for you. This stuff works, okay? It works. And I want to help you get more results from trading these markets. I want to give you a better understanding. So, you know, if you're tired of losing money or you want to understand these concepts, you want to get funded with hundreds of thousands of capital, I will show you how to do that in VIP. So without further ado, click the link down below. All the details are on the page, how to sign up, including the pricing, more member testimonials, etc., etc. I hope to see you on the inside. If you enjoyed this, make sure to subscribe down below, smash the like button, and I will see you in the next video.